It's not working now. Is it your Chromebook? Yeah.
I don't know why we have no sound. Made it to the last Pokemon. That's pretty good. I don't know whether we've got sound, but I didn't.
You can have the bottom left. Just scroll down the bottom left.
Yeah, I know. I think we do. Do we?
Yep.
Okay.
Nichols the same age as Jeff.
Huh?
1994. Good luck, Nickel.
Oh,
How's it going?
good. How about you?
Doing good, thanks.
Good.
Everybody's feeling all right, hey?
Feeling good. Sunny days.
Nice. Yeah, it was a solid day today. We've got some work that we're going to do on our neck and on our shoulder, all for our special friend Cynthia.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So we have a smaller class today, or like a shorter one. So we'll see how we do for time here, but I think we're going to be wrapping up earlier. I'm sure somehow I'll find a way to make it longer. But what we'll try to focus on is just moving a little bit slower and a little bit more attention. What I want you guys to try to cue into today is anytime that you're moving your body, some stuff has to start getting shorter for that movement to happen, right? Because muscles got to contract. And so something else is going to have to get longer. So rather than maybe listening so much on the stuff that's getting shorter today, try to think about some of the stuff that's getting longer. And as we move through this stuff, that might make a little bit more sense. But we'll start out with just a general warm-up of neck through to the wrists, and then we'll start going into things from there. And we're going to be basically just redoing our warm-up, but from kind of some different positions and different attentions. And that's what's going to make up our mobility work for the day. Sounds good? Do you guys have, oh, sorry. I'll just make sure that you're also unmuted. Unless you muted yourselves on purpose, then my apologies. Oh, right. You guys like to be muted.
You know, if you do, that's cool.
Or Cynthia swearing at you.
Hopefully today there won't be as much need for swearing, but we'll see.
Let's hope.
What you guys can do is, if you are comfortable, you could always just get a little bit of ankle action happening at the same time here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a yoga block right underneath of my butt, and you can always play with the dimensions. So this is going to give you a lot of forgiveness, and then turning it a little bit lower or on its lowest point. But I'm just going to sit on it, and I'm going to flip my feet upside down. So I've just got my ankles stretching out front side a little bit. And again, like I say, it's not necessary. It's just a little bit of an added bonus. Why not get that ankle work in while we do the rest of the stuff? You can always stand up if this starts to feel uncomfortable. I want you to think like a 30% effort, maybe up to 50%, but you're really not trying to go to your absolute end range. Just enough to start waking these joints up if you haven't been moving much today. We're going to start out with our neck, and we're going to just roll our neck forwards. Our chin's going to go towards our chest. Maybe it'll touch it if it's really easy. It doesn't have to. Now try to trace the line of your right collarbone with your chin, and then bring right ear behind right shoulder. Roll your neck backwards, so you're doing like a back bend through the neck. Pivot to the left or rotate. Left ear goes behind left shoulder. Drop the chin down to outside of left collarbone, and then roll the chin across to center line. We'll do that one more time. We'll rotate to the right, right shoulder behind right ear. Roll the neck backwards, spine length while you do so. Lift the Adam's apple up, lift the chin. Rotate left. Drop left ear behind left shoulder. Drop chin to outside of the left collarbone and scrape it across. And now let's go the opposite direction. We'll reverse it. So we'll rotate left. Left ear behind left shoulder. Back bend. Rotate right. Right ear behind right shoulder. Chin goes down outside of right collarbone, scrapes across, and we'll do another rep. Just working through that big circle. Cool. And then through our spine. So shoulder line right through to the hip. We're going through the exact same thing, but now we're bigger motions. Spine through, what's that?
It will.
Oh. And cross arms on shoulders.
That's why we mute.
Roll your spine forwards. Rotate to the right. Bring right shoulder blade behind the right hip and go into a back bend. Rotate left. Drop left shoulder behind the left hip. Start rolling to the left corner or forwards to left corner. And then to center, we'll do it again. Rotate right, side bend right, back bend, right corner, to center, rotate left, side bend left, drop forwards, left corner, and then from center, reverse it. Twist left, side bend left, back bend left corner, to center, rotating to the right, side bend right, roll forwards, to center, where we'll go one more time. Twist left, side bend left, back bend left, rotate right, side bend right, roll forwards, and back at center. We'll go into our shoulders next. So you can put your hands to your sides. If your knuckles are dragging on the floor, then you can just reach your hands out in front of you a little bit until they're off of the ground. But just try to maintain that angle of the arm relative to your torso. If you did have to reach it forwards a little bit, try to maintain that. Shoulder blades move up. They're going to pinch tight to spine. Stay pinched to spine. Pull down. Stay down and reach forwards. Keep them forwards, lift up, pull back, pull down, glide forwards. Now reverse it. Pull backwards, hold it backwards, lift up, hold it up, glide forwards, hold it forwards, drop down, hold it down, pull back. One more full circle. Back, up, forwards, down, back, up, and we're good. Onto the elbows. For our elbows, try to focus less on your wrist rotating and more on the elbow pit that's rotating. So it does, twisting at the elbow, turn the wrist down or inwards or outwards, but just really try to concentrate more on this being the point of action, the elbow pit. So again, if you just need to reach your hands forwards a touch so that they're not dragging on the floor, that's fine. And we're going to try to twist elbow pits outwards. and we'll flex the elbows, and then we'll twist elbows inwards. So palms face forward like we're gonna do a pull-up. And we'll keep twisting inwards while we lengthen the elbows. Keep them twisted inwards, rewind, bend the elbows. Now twist elbows outwards, palms face away from each other. Keep twisting them outwards while you find the length. Hold the length, hold twisted in and return, palms to shoulder. Twist in and extend, hold in and flex again. From flex, twist out, and then come back to just 90 degrees. And now from 90 degrees, we're gonna do some wrist work. And actually, let's do this. I'm going to break this down just a little bit more. If you go into a lunge, point this into a lunge, and you just put your wrist on your thigh, and you can put your other hand over top. We want to try not to feel our forearm twisting underneath of that sensory palm. So this palm is acting as your coach right now to make sure your forearm stays very still. I also want you to try not to let your palm cup or your fingertips curl. So really be mindful of that. So here we go. No cupping of the palm, no curling of the fingertips, while we try to pull a straight palm towards us. Now listen to that forearm as you pull your pinky knuckle in, pull the knuckles down, pull the thumb out, lift up, turn in, pull down, thumb out. And now reverse it, thumb out, knuckles down, pinky in, knuckles up, thumb out, knuckles down, pinky in, knuckles up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So we just rest our forearm on our thigh, put a little sensory palm over top, your little coach, and keeping everything long. Bring knuckles towards you, pinky knuckle inwards, all knuckles pull down to shin, thumb pulls away from body. Knuckles come back up. Pinky in. Knuckles down. Thumb out. Knuckles up. And we'll reverse it. Thumb out. Knuckles down. Pinky in. Knuckles up. Thumb out. Knuckles down. Pinky in. Knuckles up. Good. Last thing we'll do through our little warm-up is we'll just do some arm circles or shoulder circles. So we're thinking about trying to twist our arm from the shoulder right through bicep, elbow, forearm, and palm outwards through the full front side. And then on the back end of this circle, we're going to be trying to twist shoulder right through to the palm inwards. So just be mindful of that. Everything twisted out. Cut it across your midline, squeeze from chest and bicep, sweeps across the face, keep length in the elbow while you reach overhead and behind the ear. And now twist everything inwards and pull it backwards. Try to keep it up while it comes tight to your body. Try not to let it drop to the floor. Eventually it comes beside your body. And now reverse it, reach it straight back and up. And it won't go any further. Start rotating everything outwards again. Lift the arm backwards and upwards. Try to reach it behind your ear while it comes tight to your body. Comes in line with the ear, in front of it, across the face. And we'll do one more rep. Everything twisting out. Length through the elbow, especially as you're reaching overhead. Behind your ear if you can. Twist everything in. Lift it up while you pull it tight to the body, and then it comes down to your side. Reverse it, reach straight back, everything rotates out while you lift backwards and upwards, bring it tight to your body, lengthen the elbow, remember, cut across, and then here we go, same thing on the other side. Everything's rotating outwards, come across, Remember, we're just trying to work at like 30% effort here. So try not to be squeezing everything too tight. You're still breathing. And then we'll reverse it. Reach straight back. Pivot everything out. Pull backwards and upwards. And now keep it squeezing tight, like you're giving yourself a hug. Hold that tension. Feel your chest and your bicep working. Lift up. Twist everything inwards while you reach backwards. Trying to keep height of the arm, like you're trying to get your wrist to be in line with your shoulder behind you. And same thing again, reach that wrist up to the shoulder line. Won't go any higher. Then let it move outwards while you twist the shoulder outwards. Pulling the arm up and behind, trying not to peck the neck forwards. Cuts across, keep twisting the arm outwards while you squeeze it tight to your body. Wicked. All right, so going into our shoulder stuff. I'm just gonna go to like a tall kneeling position. So I've just come up off of my block. You guys could stand up if you want, if you find that this is a distraction from focusing on working through our neck. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put left arm behind our back if we can. And from that position, I'm gonna try to roll my shoulder down and back. So you're gonna feel a stretch through the front of your left shoulder. Everybody's got that? We're gonna do those circles at the very start that we did with the neck, right? We're gonna do those, but we're only gonna focus on the right side. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna create a lot of sensations of stretching through the left side of your neck. And that sensation of stretching is gonna kind of go from the side of the neck, and you'll feel it kind of wrapping around to the front left side and the front left back side, okay? So what I want you to do is we're gonna do 5 reps, and each rep, I want you to try to go deeper. So you can start really gentle, really subtle, and build it up rep to rep, okay? So the first one is like our warm-up set. It's like an empty barbell, and we'll progressively add pounds to the movement. So here we go. We're going to tuck chin to chest, scrape it across, right collarbone, reach right ear behind right shoulder, roll the neck backwards, lift the Adam's apple, lift the chin, and from center line, just come out of it so you're reloaded back where you started. We'll do it again. We'll go just a little bit harder, nothing wild. Tuck chin towards the chest. Try to scrape the chin across your collarbone. Reach right ear behind right shoulder. Lift the neck up and back like you're going over a pole vault. And from center line, come down, reload. Now try a little bit harder. You're closing up the gap between your chin and your chest through each rep. You're feeling like you're getting closer to the collarbone while you scrape it across. You feel like your ear is going to touch your right shoulder blade, and your Adam's apple is going to come right off. It's going to shoot up to the ceiling. Okay, 2 more reps, even harder now. As long as it's comfortable. If you're feeling too much strain through the left side of your neck, especially when we side bend and bring the ear backwards, just dial it back. This shouldn't be really aggressive. Last one is our hardest effort. Listen to all the length coming through the left side of the neck. As you bring your chin across the collarbone, and as you bring right ear behind right shoulder, notice how much tension accumulates through the front of the neck. And as you come backwards, listen to how it starts to wrap around to the front side of the neck, and you come forwards and it all eases. Cool, so that's what I was talking about, that length versus what's shortening, listening to what's lengthening. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, if you're getting tired of being in that little, that tall kneeling or good morning position, you can come out of it and just stand up. Right arm goes behind the back. If you could bend your arm, but behind you, awesome. But if that's really uncomfortable, you could even just try to put the front of your palm or the top side of your hand, just against like the lower part of your thigh, and that works too. It doesn't have to be as exaggerated as mine. I'll try to give you a side profile here, and maybe that makes a difference for some of you, maybe not. So here we go. We're going to tuck chin to chest. Remember, this is gentle, really soft effort. Scraping across the collarbone. Left ear behind left shoulder. Roll the head back to center line. Come forward a little bit harder. Bring the shoulder up, down, and back again if you need to. Keep that stretch active through the front of the right shoulder. Chin down, scrapes across collarbone. Hold shoulder down and back while you bring your ear behind left shoulder. Lift the head, rolling it backwards, back to center line. Harder effort if you can. Tuck, scrape, ear behind shoulder. Lift chin up, lift Adam's apple up. Come forwards, drop down, scrape across. Right, our left ear behind left shoulder, reach back, come forwards, hardest effort. Can you get chin to contact your sternum or your chest? Can you get chin to actually literally scrape the collarbone? Left ear behind left shoulder, roll back and come forwards, and then let that arm relax. So notice how, by eliminating some compensations of that shoulder blade or arm that wants to kind of lift up and come forward, you really start to feel so much more length coming into the neck, and that might start to actually decrease how much available range of motion or space to move you felt that you had when we first did these at the start of class. Everybody cool with that one?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Sweet. Now you could easily, if we just put both of our arms behind our back now, so we're gonna do this on both sides. I just sat down again. You guys can stay in your kneeling or standing, but both arms behind you. Get a stretch through the front of both shoulders, and we'll just do a single rep in each direction. So we're gonna tuck chin to chest, scrape chin across right collarbone, right ear behind right shoulder. Lift the Adam's apple, lift the chin, length you feel through the front of the neck. That translates to the right side as you rotate to the left. Left ear behind left shoulder. Drop the chin down, scrape it across the collarbone, back to center and come up. Now here's what I really want you to listen to. We're gonna do one more rep. We're gonna do it going to the left this time. And I want you to try to sense that stretch that's gonna be from the line of your collarbone, and it's going to move across to the tip of your shoulder blades, and then you're going to feel it wrapping behind the shoulder blade, like the top of the shoulder blade, to right up into where your neck meets your skull. So I want you to try to feel that stretch wrapping around 360 degrees. It's going to be moving to the opposite corner of what you're shortening. And see if you pick up on that, okay? So hands behind your back. Tuck chin to chest. The stretch starts behind you on the back of your neck. And then now we're going to scrape chin across left collarbone and feel the stretch moving to the right back side. Now as you bring left ear behind left shoulder, feel the stretch starts to wrap around the front side of the right side of the neck. Lift the Adam's apple up. The stretch moves to the front of your neck. Rotate to the right, feel the stretch moves to the left front of the neck. Bring right ear behind right shoulder, stretch moves to the back of the left side of the neck. And as you drop chin to outside of collarbone and scrape it across, you feel the stretch transition to the full back of your neck as you come to center and upright. You guys catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anybody notice that by trying to chase that line from the top of the shoulders, or just like the top of the torso through to the skull or chin, did you find that by chasing that stretch, it felt like you had a lot more movement happening globally? No?
Yeah, and it also pinpointed like other areas of tightness.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it did even more for you than what you were expecting. Awesome. Wicked, you guys. So now I want you to kind of try to follow that theme through the rest of the stuff that we do. I just want you to try to think, let's say if we're going to be like, we're going to move into our shoulder blades here. So as my shoulder blades are squeezing forwards, I want you to just try to listen to what's getting long when you're bringing your shoulder blades forward. What feels like it's getting long when you pull them back, when you lift them up, when you drop them down, all that stuff. So what we'll do is we're going to go to, let's do standing and give our legs a little break because they've been seated. And we're going to be dropping right back down to the floor again in a second. But from standing, I'm going to put my arms straight out in front of me, and then I'll turn them out so they're about 45 degrees. And I'm just going to give you a side profile here while I do this. So I'm going to lift the shoulder blades up. I'm going to pull the shoulder blades back. I'm going to pull shoulder blades down, and I'm going to drive them forwards. Lift them up, pull them back, pull them down, drive them forwards. Try to keep the angle of your arm perpendicular to the floor the entire time. Pull back, drop down, drive forwards, lift up, pull back, and now we're going to reverse it. We're going to reach forwards, drop down, pull back, lift up. Try to keep the elbow from bending. Reach forwards, drop down, pull back, lift up, drive forwards, pull down, reach back, lift up, and we're good. Cool. We're going to do that exact same thing, those big circles with the shoulders. We're going to do them from a tabletop position. And using this tabletop position, I find is a little bit helpful to just have something to push against, to try to drive a little bit more intention into the shoulder blades. So here's the thing. When we go to this tabletop position, some people's wrists get really sore, really tired quickly. So what you can do to just avoid that is just go like a palm or a hand length further out in front of you. So now my wrists are just in front of my shoulder line instead of underneath them. And you might find that's a lot more comfortable. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to just spend time. We're going to drive the shoulder blades forward, and we're just going to spend time trying to raise and depress them while we keep pressure moving forwards. You might find that as you're lowering or raising, you kind of lose that protraction, that shoulder blade driving forwards. I want you to also try not to use your spine. So there's a difference between my protracting my shoulder blades versus rounding my back. Do you guys see that difference? So shoulder blades drive forwards. If I confuse myself or my body awareness, I keep trying to drive them forwards, I just end up rounding through the back. So really try to disconnect what's happening from your spine with what's happening with your shoulder blades. We're just going to spend a little bit of time here. I'm going to set a timer. And so don't worry if you're not keeping up with me. You're just going at your own pace. So here we go. I got a timer set for a minute. So shoulder blades press apart from each other, and I'm going to raise shoulders to ears, and keeping them pushing apart, I'm going to squeeze them to the hips. Raise them up to the ears, pull them to the hips. I'm just going to keep pushing them apart. Raise them up to the ears. Just pause for a second. Try to push shoulder blades apart a bit more if you can. Pull them down to the hips. Pause for a second. Try to push them apart again. Bring them back up to the ears. Drop them down towards the hips. See if you just try to twist your arms outwards a little bit. Create some external rotation through the shoulder. Lift up to the ears. Pull back down to the hips. One more rep up to the ears. One more rep down to the hips. Cool. So, exact same thing, but we're gonna do it squeezing the shoulder blades together now. What's gonna happen possibly when you try to squeeze your shoulder blades together is the rest of your spine is gonna collapse. It's gonna wanna drop to the floor. So just try to keep some relative flexion or rounding through your spine, just to try to bring the attention or the work back to the shoulder blade all on its own. So exact same thing as what we did, but just squeezing the shoulder blades tight to the spine now. So here we go. Shoulder blades, squeeze tight to spine, and we'll just see how well we can keep them tight while we lift them up to ears. How well can we keep them tight while we pull them down to the hips? Keep them tight, lift up to ears, max it out, bring them to the hips, max it out. Increase the effort. Squeeze them tight, lift up to the ears a little harder. Try not to let your neck peck to the floor. Keep them squeezing tight, bring them down to the hips. You could pause there and just try to squeeze them tighter and pull them lower to the hips. Bring them back up to the ears. Pause there, try to squeeze them tighter and lift them up higher. Try to twist the arm outwards while you pull back down to the hips. Keep squeezing the arm outwards or twisting while you shrug them up to the ears. One more rep each direction. Squeeze down. One more rep, lifting up. Good. You guys can come on out of that. So, now we'll just do that full circle. And now that we've had some time just to kind of scan and find out what corners or what pieces of that full circle we kind of struggle with, I just want you to try to fight for a little bit more quality movement, a little bit more range of motion, wherever it is that you struggle. So you have a really good idea now of driving forwards and pulling backwards, and of both of those directions on top of raising or depressing, where those little corner pockets are that you struggle with. We'll do 3 reps in each direction. So back to our tabletop position, and we will squeeze shoulder blades tight to spine. Keep them squeezed tight, lift them to the ears. Keep them lifted, push them apart without rounding the spine. Hold them pushing towards the floor, pull them to the hip. Try not to back bend while you squeeze the shoulder blades tight to the spine and lift them up to the ears. Lengthen the spine while you push shoulders apart. Pull shoulders down to the hips. Squeeze them tight to spine. Lift them up towards the ears. Push them apart. Pull down to the hips. Squeeze them together, and now reverse it. Keep them squeezed together. Drive them apart. Keep driving them into the floor while you shrug to ears. Keep them up at the ears while you squeeze them tight. Keep them tight while you pull down to the hips. Keep lengthening the elbow, keep lengthening the spine. Push shoulder blades through the floor. Lift them up to the ears. Squeeze them tight to spine. Pull them down to the hips. Push them apart. Good job, you guys. Wicked. We are going to do, oh yeah, here's our big challenge. We're gonna do a couple more reps of that. We're gonna try to do it from an active bear position. So you guys remember and love that bear crawl. So we're gonna go into that position and we'll get some reps in. So that same tabletop position you were just in, and all I want you to try to do is see if you can get 5 reps in each direction without rushing, with the knees hovering off of the floor. So we're just gonna do some ab work at the same time. Try to breathe.
I think I need to mute it now, Danny.
What's that?
I think I need to mute you now.
Oh yeah, here, okay, let me, just in case. If you guys find that you get tired and you drop off before it's all done, then don't worry, I probably will too. And just try to keep going through them with knees resting on the floor, all right, until we're done. See if you can try to keep pace with me though. So we're gonna do 5 one direction and then 5 the other way. Here we go. Knees off of the floor, push shoulder blades apart, lift them to the ear, tight to spine, pull them down to the hip, push them apart, up to ear, tight to spine, down to hip, push them apart, up to ear, tight to spine, down to hip, push apart. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Now reverse it. Pull tight to spine, shrug to ear, push apart, down to hip, tight to spine, up to ear, push apart, down, tight, up and apart, down, tight, up and apart. Last one, down, tight, up and apart. Nice. Cool. Moving on to our shoulder itself. So now we're thinking about just a little ball of our upper arm attaching into the little golf tee of the corner of our shoulder blade, all right? And that's our glenohumeral joint. And it works on rotation primarily. So what we're gonna do, this is your call, is we'll just try to get in a little bit of work on legs, pardon me, at the same time. And this really just depends on your relationship with squatting. If you guys would like, you could just go to a wall sit. So you're just sitting against the wall at like 90 degrees. If you're really comfortable with it, you can drop yourselves right into the bottom of your squat or the deepest squat you can. We're gonna bring our arms, we'll pull them against the wall, and we're gonna try to keep squeezing the elbows against the wall, keeping the elbow in line with the shoulder while we pivot, rotating arms towards the floor, arms towards ceiling, towards floor, towards ceiling. What we want to try to avoid while we do this is that arm popping forwards or lifting up or both. So that's where just pulling them into the wall will help give some feedback that that shoulder is staying down and staying back, so the chest is staying open. Make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. Cool. So same thing, if you get tired, just stand up, and you can do it from standing, and that's fine. So I'm gonna get myself into my squatting stance. I'll sit myself down into the bottom of my squat, and adjust myself here. I'll pull my arms to the wall, my neck against the wall, and here we go. I'm gonna try to stay active through the hips. Rotate to ceiling, pull, rotate slow to the floor, hold, rotate to ceiling, hold, rotate to the floor, hold, ceiling, hold, floor, hold, ceiling, hold. We have 2 more reps. Floor, hold, fight for more range. Ceiling, hold, full inhale. Exhale, fight for a little more range. Hold your breath, transition to floor. Inhale. Exhale, try to rotate a little deeper. Good. And then you can come on out of that. So just trying to get a little bit of work through the lower body while we do some stuff up top. Now, I'll turn this up a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. Remember we did our big shoulder circle at the start? Everybody remembers that?
Yeah.
We're gonna do that, and we're just gonna do it from a couple different positions. So our first position, I want you to go to a split. So whatever feels comfortable for you, where you get just a little stretch through the groin, but I want you to make sure that that groin stretch is not making your hips want to dump forwards and bow your low back forwards, okay? So make sure you can keep the hips tucked. So hips tucked, arm twisted out, we'll rotate, lift in line or behind the ear, pivot the arm inwards, reach it back, and reverse it. Reach up and back, rotate shoulder through to the palm outwards, pull the arm backwards, overhead, try to bring it behind the ear, cut it across in front of you. Left side or the other side, whatever side you didn't do yet. Same thing. Keep that split stretch active. Try to tuck the hips a little bit harder if you can. Keep length through the rest of your spine. And reverse it. Turning out. Cool. So that's like our warm-up rep. We're gonna keep trying harder and harder on every single rep. So let's just say that that was about 40% effort. This next rep is gonna be more like 60% effort, okay? So you're just squeezing all the moving stuff a little bit harder, and you're trying to match the effort by just contracting the rest of the muscles in your body, like you're trying not to let someone push you over or push you out of position. So we're gonna go to like a good morning. We're gonna drop the spine forwards as far as we can go. And I'll give you a side profile here. As you drop forwards, can you try not to let the hips go backwards? So it'll just create a little bit more work through your body to keep you from falling forwards. And now here we go. Arms just reaching down at our sides. And arm cuts across, lifts up, in line or behind the ear. Twist it in, lift it up to the ceiling behind you, and then bring it to the side of your hip. Now reverse it. Reach the arm backwards, lift up to the ceiling, wrap shoulder through the wrist outwards. Keep lifting it up to the ceiling while it comes forward in line with your ear, and drop it down. Feeling lots of feelings in your calves right now through the back of your legs. Same thing on the other side. Rotate, cutting across, lifting up to line of the ear, twisting everything in, reaching backwards, down to the hip line. Reach it straight back, high as you can. Wrap everything outwards, come forwards, cut across, drop down. Stand yourselves up. Now, stay in that split position, or go back to it if you fell out of it. And now we're going to challenge the hips a little bit more. We're going to sink into a squat from here, a sumo squat. So once you're in that stretch, arms will just reach out in front of you. Right arm is going to twist outwards. We're going to lift it up. Try to bring it behind the line of the ear. Keep sinking deeper in your squat. Twist it in. Reach back. Comes down to the line of the hip. Reverse it. Reach straight back. Pivot out. Reach behind the head. Comes forward. Good. Other arm. Everything twists out. Reach up. Sinking deeper in the squat. Reach back. Twist everything in. Deeper in the squat. Reach it up and behind you. Deeper in the squat. Comes down. Pull the knees apart. Reach the arm backwards. Lift it up. Behind the line of the ear. Comes in front of you. Gently come out of that squat.
Holy.
Whew. Okay, you guys ready for the last test?
What?
I love the enthusiasm, Trudy. Cynthia, how many new words did your kids learn?
That was good, yeah. You should see
I controlled myself.
she's lying.
No, I'm not. I'm very good.
Okay, let's leave her off of mute here and see how quiet she can be in this last test.
True test.
Yeah. So the last thing we'll do is we're going to do those shoulder circles, one each side. We're going to do them from the deepest squat we could get into. This is your normal squat. So shoulder width apart, give or take. You can turn the toes out, drop into the bottom of your squat. Try to stay tall in the chest, and here we go. Twist everything out. Lift up, behind the ear. Twist everything in. Reach it up. Let it come down. Twist everything in and reach up and back. Twist it out. Lift it up behind you, in line with the ear, in front of you. Same thing other side. Twist it out. Reach straight and back. Twist it in. Try to lift up. While you reach backwards, drop it down. Lift it up. Deeper squat. Deeper. Twist out. Reach backwards. Come in front of you and slowly coming out of the squat. Good job, you guys. How was that?
The worst part is not what you asked me to do. It's listening to Matt tell me what he thinks I should do. That's the biggest problem.
I think that's why a lot of couples CrossFit separately.
No, and that's where the creative language comes in. Like, I just tell them where to go. And anyway,
You never knew you had so many endearing terms to call someone, huh?
you have no idea. After 21 years of marriage, you figure out a lot of different names for people.
And try that neck stuff out, you guys, throughout your day, especially if you found that like your workload has increased, your stress loads have increased, or your like text or screen time has increased. That stuff can be huge. And then on top of it, your shoulder circles as well. So where we kind of just scan, pushing the shoulder forward, lifting it up and down, and pulled the shoulder backwards and scan, lifting it up and down. Really try to play around with that stuff because so many of the muscles are attaching from our skull to our shoulder blade, our collarbones. And so if the shoulder blades aren't moving very well, then there's a chance that all that musculature attaching to the neck and the head can be part of where we start to get some irritations or feel like we need to like stretch that stuff out.
Yeah, no, that was wonderful. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, no problem, you guys. Enjoy the evening. We'll see you Friday at 1.
Hey, Danny, you like my socks?
I didn't even. You're a little bit late on the impersonations, Matt. That challenge was a couple weeks ago.
It's true. It's true.
A little slow on the uptake.
I like it, man.
Thank you very, very much, Danny.
Take care, you guys. Great to see you.
Bye,
Later.
Trudy.
Later, Grant.
Okay, bye.